No, I don't think we should wait until it starts.
Wait, okay. Hi, my name is Madeline Sullivan, and I have the flea, which is the common name for ctenocephalides felis, which is the scientific name.
Hi, I am Veronica Gonzalez. My insect species is the Pediculus humanus capitis, or the head louse, or another name could be lice.
Okay, and then our debate topic is which is more dangerous? So to humans. So are lice or fleas more dangerous to humans? So for my opening statement, I have some facts on the biology of fleas. So first of all, fleas are an insect, which means that they have 6 legs and 3 body parts or body sections. They're also flat like a door. They also have 4 stages of a life cycle. So they go from egg to larva to pupa to adult. They're also quite fast and they can jump. That's how they get from host to host. So they'll jump onto dogs or cats or humans, just depending on wherever they are. Usually they're an indoor pest, and that means that cats or dogs normally tend to bring the fleas inside to the house, which means that once the fleas are inside the house, you get more and more fleas, and it can be a really unfortunate scenario. They're also a wingless insect, and so they don't jump. They don't fly since they don't have wings. They just jump, and their order is Siphonophora, and what that means is they have, or literally what it means is sucking tube without wings. So, and what they also do, how they are detrimental to humans, they can transmit really bad diseases like the plague. Maybe not anymore, but they used to. So the plague, typhus, tapeworms, they also can cause human irritation and things like that. So they can really be just a disaster to deal with for humans. Okay, you're good.
Okay. So mine, my louse. So the plural for it is lice. That's what we mostly hear about it. And from what we know, most people hear it first when they're in school, because there is a program that says no knit policy that are used in schools. This comes from their life cycle, where because lice are parasites, and the head louse, their hosts are humans. So the louse feeds on blood several times a day, and it resides on the scalp to maintain its body temperature. There are 3 stages of the louse. There is the egg, the nymph, and the adult. So of course the eggs are laid by the female, and they're close to the shaft. They're literally cemented into the shaft of the scalp, so that it's difficult for them to be removed, and also difficult for them to be seen in long-haired people. So this is why a lot of females, especially children who have long hair, have difficulty being found. It takes about a week for the eggs to hatch, and then from then, the nymphs are literally tiny versions of the adults, and it will take them about 7 days to become an adult. Because they already look like adults when they're born. This is simple metamorphosis. And as adults, they will live for 30 days as long as they continue drinking blood and living on a host. Without a host, they will die within 1 to 7 days. So they are tiny, and there's a lot of other animals that will contain lice, but this one, because it lives mostly on humans, the way they move around is from jumping. And from jumping from one to others is what causes an infestation. The most common way to get around is from head-to-head contact. And because of head-to-head contact, this is what causes the no-knit policy in schools, to tell them if there's lice on a child, they are not allowed to be in the school, to reduce the chances of it spreading from student to student.
Okay, cool. I'm so sorry. I also would like to add for my opening statement, I forgot to add this part, just two unique characteristics of the flea. So a flea feeds off of a host. So if a flea has a host, the flea itself can live about 2 to 3 months. But if the flea doesn't have a host, it can only last for a few days. So anyway, sorry to add that. So for my rebuttal, I think it is interesting to compare the flea and the lice. The fact that they like suck blood and they need hosts to survive. I would say though that as far as flea, one of them being more dangerous to humans, I do believe that fleas are more dangerous to humans, as they have the host, the human, so they suck blood and they can transmit diseases. Some really dangerous diseases, as I previously mentioned, the plague, typhus, just being a skin irritant and things like that.
So fleas lice are not, there is no real connection to any big disease that they do spread. But if we take a look about it in a social kind of manner, lice, especially in schools, students need to be able to pay attention in classes and learn and even, become the scientists that figure out how to get rid of lice and fleas. But they are more of a nuisance than or nuisance or pests because they don't spread diseases, but they can cause from kids not having that much self-control, because it's usually the younger children that will catch lice. They will scratch, and the scratching can cause infections, and infections can lead to more dangerous things, especially if it's close to the scalp, and if parents are too busy to be looking at, or there's not enough take care at the school for them to look at it, it can cause to a bigger problem. And then also because it spreads so easily from child to child.
That is interesting and unfortunate that lice can affect, especially children, so easily. I would have to say, though, that I personally experienced some fleas inhabiting my apartment, and they jumped onto my roommate's cat and infested our entire apartment. And from personal experience, I can tell you that dealing with fleas is a nightmare. It can be extremely expensive to completely eradicate fleas from the home. It's also can be very toxic, and even the non-toxic remedies they don't really work. And they can also, from scratching, as I said before, skin irritants, they give you scars all over. It's just not a good situation. So go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are in common with fleas. I think the main thing is that fleas have diseases and lice do not. But treating both of them are expensive, because lice need to have a host. They only survive 1 or 2 days without being on someone. And fleas, I've found them like under my pillow and stuff when I had pets, so I'm pretty sure they can live longer. I think you mentioned, I don't remember what you said though. But I think you're correct that that fleas can be a problem, and they spread. I think they spread a lot easier because you can't really control an animal and where they go.
Right, exactly. Okay, cool. So for my closing statement, I'd just like to reiterate that fleas, as I said before, they're an insect. They have 4 stages in the life cycle. They can only, which is egg, larva, pupa, and then to adult. They typically jump from outdoors. They jump onto like a cat or a dog or some domesticated animal, and then the animal tends to come inside and spread the fleas, and that's when it can get really dangerous and expensive to eradicate the fleas, and dangerous as when you get flea bites, when the fleas jump onto you or in your clothes or in your carpet or something. They can severely irritate your skin, give you scars from scratching, give you typhus, the plague in the past, and tapeworms. So as far as And then they're used in research, and for instance, in like recent research, it was discovered that the common cat flea can transmit a certain type of typhus that wasn't actually known to be transmitted by fleas before. So obviously, it's very important to continue studying and researching fleas and the diseases that they can carry and how those diseases can be transmitted in order to protect human lives. So there you go.
Okay. For my closing statement, I do want to say that. Well, I want to say, oh yeah, that lice are a problem. I think it's because they hit more closer to home because they do infest more humans and then children. They jump around from being close to human interaction, and from research, it's becoming harder to find ways to control them and educating adults because many people there are simple ways that they believe will prevent it, and it's not. Also, it's kind of sad to have a little girl have to cut off all her hair because she gets infested with fleas. I mean, with lice, and wasn't her fault. According to one research I found, they're saying that there's a lot common treatments that are being found in the store that are not as effective anymore. So there needs to be more research on how to limit their spread, how to treat them better, and just in general educating the parents, the students, and even the nurse that are checking the students for these lice.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you for your argument. And thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you.